Hello, Houston Texans fans. Today we have some hot news that you can't miss. So get ready because there's a lot of important information coming. Before we start, we'd like to take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and stay up to date with all the news about our Houston Texans. Don't forget to leave a like, which really strengthens our community and helps bring this content to those who are most passionate about the team. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news. Veteran Bills defensive end leaves to join AFC rival. The Buffalo Bills will have a hole to fill in their defensive line rotation after a veteran left to join a conference rival in free agency. Defensive end Casey Tuill's agent announced in a blog post on X that he signed a one-year deal with the Houston Texans. Tuill joined the Bills on a one-year deal last offseason and was a rotational player on the defensive line. The Bills have already made a big addition to their pass rushing group, with more potentially coming in next month's NFL draft. Bills lose depth on the defensive line. Tuill, 28, appeared in 14 games with one start for the Bills last season, making 20 total tackles with 1.0 sacks. He appeared on 28% of the team's defensive snaps and also saw time on special teams, where he appeared on 37% of snaps. Sam Warren of the Houston Chronicle suggested that Tuill could spend some time on special teams for the Texans, but is expected to take on a larger role on defense. Tuill's primary role for the Texans will likely be as pass rushing depth, however, Warren wrote. The edge threat won't be a starter, as will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter occupy those positions and form one of the NFL's most prolific pass rushing duos, though he will serve as a fill-in alongside free agent addition Darrell Taylor and a re-signed Derek Barnett. Houston Texans closed trade for OL Ed Ingram with Minnesota Vikings. The Houston Texans continue to be active in the market and are strengthening their offensive line for next season. After agreeing to sign center Ryan Kelly and guard Will Fries, the franchise has now closed another important deal, this time bringing in guard Ed Ingram from the Minnesota Vikings. The information was released by Ian Rappaport of NFL Media, who revealed that the Vikings agreed to send Ingram to the Texans in exchange for a sixth-round pick in the 2026 draft. The move reinforces the Texans' strategy of strengthening protection for quarterback C.J. Stroud, while the Vikings continue to adjust their offensive line for next season. Who is Ed Ingram? Ed Ingram was a second-round pick in the 2022 draft, selected by the Minnesota Vikings with the expectation of becoming one of the pillars of the team's offensive line. In his rookie season in the NFL, he immediately took over as a starter and never left the team, starting all 17 games. His performance was solid, especially in the run game, but he also struggled in pass protection, something that became a concern for the Vikings. The following season, in 2023, Ingram started as a starter and held that position for much of the year, accumulating 32 games as a starter in his first two seasons. However, throughout 2024, the player ended up losing his place in the team and was removed from the starting lineup mid-season, which paved the way for this trade with the Texans. In total, Ingram played 41 games with the Vikings, starting in 9 of them last year. During the 2023 season, he was present in 55% of the offensive snaps and also had a role on special teams, playing in 20% of the snaps on that unit. What can Ed Ingram bring to the Texans? Ingram's arrival at the Houston Texans represents a new opportunity for the player to revitalize his NFL career. In Houston, he will find a team on the rise, which surprised the league last season with the performance of young quarterback C.J. Stroud and an increasingly dangerous offense. The Texans have already demonstrated their commitment to protecting Stroud and improving the offensive line, and the addition of Ingram reinforces that plan. With his experience and potential, he can compete for a starting spot and contribute significantly to the ground game, helping to open up spaces for the team's running backs. In addition, under the guidance of the Texans coaching staff, Ingram can work to correct his pass protection issues and develop as a player. The impact of the trade for the Vikings and Texans. For the Vikings, the Ingram trade signals a change of direction in the construction of the team's offensive line. With new additions to the position, the team decided to release the player and secure a future draft pick to continue its restructuring. For the Texans, Ingram's arrival represents another important piece in the offensive line puzzle, which has been strengthened this offseason.